Hi, this is Jessica. I'm from the Alpine Corporation and I'm your pump product specialist. Today we're going to learn how to clean our pump and also change the impeller. So let's get started. First, we're going to start with one dirty pump. That's what we got here. This is our PAL 6550. There's some tools and some things that you need to make sure that your pump is clean. You can clean it with vinegar, white vinegar, or anything that has a lime calcium deposit removal, or CLR is what we're using today. You're going to want to need some air to get the little dust and particles out of the mechanical parts. You're definitely going to need a screwdriver to get that bad boy open. You're going to want to use your toothbrush to get into the fine areas, and of course a piece or a small household sponge, and of course you won't want to forget those napkins to clean up the mess. The first step is to take the pre-filtered cage off. Now again, if you're looking, this one's pretty good, but sometimes when you pull it out of the pond or out of the area, there's large debris already stuck on the outside of it. You want to make sure that you get that off. You can get that off using a sponge, a toothbrush, or anything, even just your hands. You get some of that debris off, sometimes sticks, etc., etc. So we're going to go ahead and take this off. So you can see it comes off pretty easy. This one isn't too bad. There's no large debris on the outside of it, but it's not perfect. It's okay though. Again, this is all right for what we need to do. Okay, now that we've removed the cage, the next step is to take the screws off of the right here. Now we're gonna see that we have 4 major screws. Now if you take the pump and take it into put it on its backside, you'll see there's 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's go ahead and take these out. Okay, and that's our 4th screw. Let's get that guy out, all these guys out. Alrighty. So all 4 screws have come out, as you can see, and you want to make sure they're in a safe, secure place so you don't lose them, because you will need them. Then you're going to take your piece like this and turn it to the left. And you'll hear kind of like a clicking sound when it sits. You want to take that piece off. As you can see, this part comes off. You're going to want to make sure you clean this area as well. You use a little ear duster and also any kind of sponge or toothbrush to get into those little crevices. Get that all clean. And again, if you use any kind of harsh material or CLR, you want to make sure you rinse it off with water again after that to make sure it doesn't harm any kind of critters you have in your pond. All right, now that we've got the black piece off, we're going to go ahead and take our impeller out. We want to make sure it comes out really easy. But as you can see, whoo-wee, this impeller is very dirty. There's some normal wear and tear on the impeller. We'll go over how to clean your impeller. And also you want to make sure your O-ring is in good condition. Make sure it's clean, no cracking, no wear and tear, no splitting. Or if you contact Alpine customer service, we can direct you to one of our many distributors who can get you a new impeller as well as a new O-ring to put into your pump. As you can see, old impeller, dirty. Ugh. New impeller, nice and clean. Okay, woo-wee. Now we've got that guy all clean. So you can see, it's clean all through here and all in through here. You can see a major difference. Again, this is a comparison to our new impeller, the impeller we just cleaned. That's pretty close. There's still some wear and tear on this one, but again, the more often you clean your pump, the longer life it will have. Now we've got our impeller clean. The next step we're going to do is clean the inside, the cage here of where your impeller, the housing where your impeller sits into, and make a connection to the motor. Again, you want to be careful and the products that you use near the motor, and that again, this is where your dust off or your dusting material comes in, your air, to make sure you're not missing any of the, you want to spray in there. Okay, and then we're going to get a little CLR or white vinegar, put that on your sponge. We're going to come in, cleaning the pump. Now that we've cleaned the impeller housing area, as you can see here. It's got some wear and tear, but most of the rust has come out. Also, you want to look inside there, and you'll see that the area is still wet near the bottom where the motor comes in contact with the impeller. You always want to make sure any electronic components that you plug in is dry 100%, even if you have to leave it in the sun for about an hour. Alrighty, now our pump is nice and clean, as you can see. We're gonna put it back together so we can get it back in that pond of ours. Now, again, we have two options. We can take the impeller that we just cleaned, very nice, and the O-ring you always wanna make sure is clean. And if there are any cracks or distressing on it, you wanna kinda look at it, it looks okay, I can still reuse it after it's clean. You always wanna make sure if there's any kind of cracks or distressing on it, you wanna replace it with, again, a new O-ring, which again you can find at any of Alpine's major distributors. So here we are, we're gonna put our O-ring back on, and it should fit very snug. Then we're gonna put our impeller back on. As you can see, there are two holes in the impeller. One is smaller, one is larger. It's to indicate which is top, which is bottom. I'm gonna slide that over, making sure the larger hole is on top. Put a little bit off. Don't put it right on top because you want to make sure it clicks in. Turn, turn, and you hear that click? It means it's in nice and secure. Now let's go on to the next step. Okay, now that we've got that impeller in, O-ring in, everything's clean, we're gonna put our housing back on. We're gonna take it at a 45-degree angle. There, and you wanna always make sure that it's flush. So you're gonna push down like so. Okay, as you hear that click, you know that you're flush. Then we're gonna twist it, like so, and it's good and on. Alrighty, now that we've got our housing on, our impeller in, everything looks tight, we're going to put in those 4 screws we took out. Oops, make sure they're in the holes. There we go. Screw those in. Alrighty. Then we're gonna put our pre-filter cage on, as you saw. Make sure it gets lined up. Snap back on. You'll hear it click. There you go. And make sure that everything's good. Tubing is hooked up, and you've got a clean pond running.